Well, uh, India was the first UN member state to actually contribute a fully staffed unit of female peacekeepers in the UN peacekeeping mission in Liberia. That happened in 2007. It was the first time any member state had done it, and everybody looked to see what would be the impact of this new idea. And I think that in the period that the UN women peacekeepers were deployed in Liberia, they showed how they made a difference. And I think that the lesson that has been learned by the United Nations and by India from this experience is that the women peacekeepers actually become force multipliers when they're deployed on the ground. And that's because of at least two reasons. One is that a lot of the people who are impacted by violent conflict are women and their children. And the empathy between troops deployed on UN peacekeeping and the victims of violent conflicts is more when the victims, who are women and their children, interact with women peacekeepers, whom they find to be more understanding of the issues. And this was the experience in Liberia of the Indian women peacekeepers. The second reason, which we do not often speak of openly, but I think we must and speak of it more and more, is that a lot of the peacekeepers, men and women who go from countries like India, are actually from rural backgrounds. And if you see the impact of these violent conflicts where they are deployed is also in rural areas rather than in urban areas. So the impact on rural communities is something that is understood faster, and the solution to mitigate this impact is also suggested faster by people who come from rural backgrounds. And in the case of Liberia, this happened, and the women became role models. They brought their own Indian rural way of building societies and of sustaining societies where women play a role in our own rural structures. They brought that perspective into their interaction in Liberia. And the president of Liberia, who was elected, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a woman president, she gave the biggest sort of recommendation for the Indian women peacekeepers when they finally wound up the peacekeeping mission and the Indian peacekeepers came back from Liberia. And one statistic that she mentioned, which stayed in my mind, is that when before the Indian women peacekeepers went to Liberia, only 2 out of 10 Liberian women would look at working in their national governance institutions like the police or controlling law and order as a profession. But by the time the Indian women peacekeepers left, as many as 8 out of 10 Liberian women wanted to emulate them and join the national governance institutions of Liberia to make them more resilient. And that is meeting the objectives of the entire approach of the United Nations on strengthening of national governance institutions, and in this case by also empowering women. So this was a good sort of case study, which is now being looked at by many other countries. And India has decided to build on her experience, and now we have a component of women peacekeepers in South Sudan, which is today one of the most violent of conflict zones where UN peacekeepers are deployed. But Indian women have volunteered to go. And I think that that's the main point, that these are not conscripted people who are being sent here and there by their governments. In the case of Indian peacekeepers, they are all professional volunteers, and they are volunteering to serve in these very challenging conditions. And I must say that the impact that Indian women peacekeepers have had in Liberia and now in South Sudan, and we are hearing of that as well, is really something that makes you understand why we need to use more and more of this huge resource base that we have in UN member states, where women can actually take the lead and come up with solutions which probably their male counterparts would not have thought about. Well, this idea of having a memorial wall for the peacekeepers who had given their lives defending the UN Charter was an idea which came about in 2013-14, around that time, in the Committee on Peacekeeping Operations, which is called the C-34 Committee. And a lot of troop contributing countries understood that it was not only their troops who were casualties in these peacekeeping operations, but there was a collective sense of being the casualties of defending the principles of the UN Charter. And it was with this background, and we had a very experienced and a very supportive chair of the C-34 committee, who was the former foreign minister of Nigeria, Ambassador Ogbu. And Ambassador Ogbu had also served in the Security Council when Nigeria was in the Security Council. So she saw both sides of the picture. She saw how the decisions were taken on deploying the peacekeepers, and sometimes they were actually put in harm's way and became casualties. And she saw the concerns expressed by the countries which were contributing troops. So this idea then came together in the C-34 Committee on Peacekeeping Operations. And then in the course of brainstorming, it was felt that like major military powers have memorial walls. There is a famous Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., for example. Why not have a similar memorial for the peacekeepers who had given their lives for the UN Charter? When we agreed on this idea in 2015, and the General Assembly adopted it as part of the Committee on Peacekeeping Operations proposals, about 3,400 peacekeepers had died. Today, when you see, the number is crossed 4,000. So in the space of 5 years, 600-700 people have become casualties. So this is not going to end, the casualties. So the idea was to have a memorial wall. And because we were all aware of the constraints on the UN budget and everything else that goes into these new ideas, we proposed that the wall should be actually constructed in the UN headquarters compound, where there's already a space designated to commemorate the Nobel Prize given in 1988 to UN peacekeeping. And there's a fountain there, and there's some stone blocks which mention the Nobel Prize. So this was what was the background to the Leadership Summit on UN peacekeeping, which took place in New York in September 2015. And I must say that our Prime Minister was among the world leaders who participated in that summit, and who then said in his official speech that India is ready, including through financial resources, to contribute to the construction of this memorial wall. So it is my hope that now that we are sort of moving ahead and implementing so many of the ideas that are being given, that this memorial wall will also be constructed on the grounds of the UN headquarters in New York.